Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. And we have a pretty interesting week on our hands. Not the greatest week we've ever had, that's for sure, but it could be worse, I do suppose. Before we get into the video, if you could drop a like by the end if you enjoy the video or you learn something, and consider subscribing if you guys are new. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and start off with the weekly challenge, which is pretty darn good this week. I will give it to Rockstar for sure. The weekly challenge this week is going to be to sell $500,000 worth of special cargo, and you will get a $500,000 bonus to match the amount that you sold. So basically sell 500k worth of cargo, you get $1 million. Not too bad. If you also sell this in a crew session or a public session and get the high demand bonus, the weekly challenge bonus isn't going to scale with that, but you will get a little bit more money for your sale, $750,000 if you get a full high demand bonus lobby. So that is pretty good. And if you guys need any info about CEO cargo, I just made a brand new updated CEO cargo guide on my channel. I'll link it in the description down below. Go check that out if you need. So that's going to be a really good way to make money this week. Now, unfortunately, that's kind of where like the great ways to make money end. However, we have some other stuff going on, so we'll talk about that. We have the same bonus carrying over from last week if you guys were not able to achieve it, and that is to complete all 7 community missions. And for doing this, you'll receive a bonus $500,000, and these are paying 4 times money and RP. I know it doesn't say that right here like it typically would, but they are paying 4 times money and RP, about $56,000 per mission. So if you do it all together, it's probably going to be almost $1 million. I would say it's worth your time. I'd give it a shot personally. We also have Overtime Rumble, the adversary mode, on double money and double RP this week. It is a really fun one. If you have some friends to play with, this is an absolute blast. Even with randoms, it's a lot of fun too. It's basically card arts. It's generally a good time. I would give it a shot this week. Now we also have 4 times money on Cayo Perico treasure chests. Now these typically pay 25,000, so they're going to be 100,000 per one that you find. And we also have triple money and triple RP on the Cayo Perico hidden caches. Now these also pay $25,000 a piece, so this time they're going to pay $75,000 for each one that you find, and there are 2 that you can get per real life day. So that's $300,000 right there. Not honestly a terrible bonus, and if you're doing Cayo Perico anyways, I mean, it's a good way to earn some extra money. Under the Dynasty 8 Executive Realty website, we have CEO offices 40% off. Now, if you're buying a CEO office this week to try to take advantage of the CEO cargo bonus, for most players, I honestly recommend getting Maze Bank West. It's the cheapest location, and it really doesn't matter the location of your CEO office. It's one of those things that's become less and less important over the years. So I would just get Maze Bank West, save yourself the money, unless there's one that you really like. Like if you want Maze Bank Tower, it's 2.4 mil this week. Personally, I think it's overrated. Arcadius is my favorite location. It's a little bit less busy than Maze Bank, and it's a lot cheaper. And then of course we also have Lawn Bank West, which has one of the best views as far as any property in GTA Online. So make the decision as to whichever one you want. Now for the upgrades, everything in here is pretty much just cosmetic. The main things to watch out for are the gun locker, which is very expensive in the CEO office, so I don't recommend getting one in here. And the safe, some people get confused by this. They think that it actually makes you money, like the nightclub wall safe, for example. It does not do that. Do not buy the safe. It is literally a cosmetic item. You can open this door on the wall, and that is literally it. You can look at money that's in there if you have any. It is a complete waste of money. Do not buy it. The one thing you may want to consider buying is the accommodation, and that is only if you want to be able to spawn in at your CEO office. The only way you can do that is if you have the accommodation. If you like to do the export mixed goods mission, for example, and you start off your GTA Online day by doing that, you may want to get the accommodation so you can spawn in here, go and do that mission to make a quick 50k every day when you get into GTA Online. But I personally don't do that. I know a few people that do that, so make your decisions, but that's really the only thing you need to buy. If you just want to run CEO cargo though, literally all you need is the actual office itself for $600,000 or whatever the cheapest amount is. Obviously you can, do your decor and everything like that. You can change it around. Some of them look better than others. Really doesn't matter though. I would recommend if you're just trying to make money to just buy the regular one for $600K. You will need this, by the way, in order to purchase a CEO cargo warehouse. That is also important to mention. Getting started with the vehicle discounts this week, we have the Albany VSTR going for $899,500. This thing now features a missile lock-on jammer, which is an added benefit for sure. The VSTR is a really fun car, and it's also a really good looking car, at least in my opinion as well. Customization wise, it's got some decent stuff that you can do to it. It is rear wheel drive and it has a lot of power. It's one of the easier cars to power slide in GTA Online, so if you're into that sort of thing, you may want to consider that. However, it's also a really good handling car for being such a big sedan that's got a lot of power. Now, it will slide out on you if you're taking corners too fast, but it is a lot of fun generally, I would say, and it has a pretty good top speed as well of about 125 miles per hour. So it's a really good car. Overall, I would say if it interests you, you should purchase it. However, it's not one that you absolutely need. It's not a necessary vehicle to have, so I would only really recommend buying it if it's something you are interested in to begin with. Under the two-door section on Legendary, we have the Pegassi Infernus Classic. Now, of the classic Pegassis in the game, being the Torero or the Infernus Classic, the Infernus Classic is significantly better. It's going for $640,500 this week, and if you're a fan of the Lamborghini Diablo, I would recommend getting this one overall. It's not the best car ever. It's not gonna, go around corners super quick. It's still gonna have that kind of lazy sports classic handling, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It fits the car for sure. Just be aware that it's not gonna be, something that you're gonna just clear out the competition in sports classic class races. But as a car for free mode, as a vehicle to customize, as a vehicle to go in your garage, it is a great vehicle at doing all of those things. So if you're interested in it, definitely go for a purchase this week. $640,000 overall, I feel like, is not egregiously priced for this vehicle. But again, like with the VSTR, if you're not interested in it, it's definitely a vehicle you do not need to own in GTA Online. Over on Warstock, we're getting started with some boat discounts. We have quite a few this week, which is interesting. Starting off with the weaponized dinghy though, it's a $1.3 million, inflatable boat with a metal bottom. Not exactly the most useful vehicle of all time, I will not lie to you. It is a very cool novelty item. However, just to be clear, this is a Pegasus vehicle, despite it not saying that. So you can only get this from Pegasus, meaning you have to deal with Pegasus. You have to deal with calling them, and you show up to go and pick it up, and oh, hey, sorry, sir, we've somehow misplaced your boat. It's not here. And then, you call them again, and then hopefully it actually spawns this time. I personally just don't see a world in which this is worth the money, other than for just simply looking cool and having a boat that's weaponized to go in the water. If you have a lot of money and you really want one of these, definitely go for it. But if you are at all on a budget, if you don't have every business in the game, if you don't have all the cars you want, this is something you should not be spending your money on. So for most people, I'm going to go ahead and say to avoid the weaponized dinghy this week. All right, moving on to our boat discounts. And just a fair warning, we're going to be saying avoid a lot in the next couple minutes here. First up, we have the Longfin. It's actually a decent boat. It's really not that bad. It is a Pegasus vehicle. That is something to note. It is also extremely expensive. This was added with the Cayo Perico Heist DLC. It is one of the Cayo Perico Heist mission vehicles as well, or heist vehicles I should say. It's decent. Like it's a pretty quick boat as far as the boats go in GTA. That's really all I have to say. I mean, if you want to spend 1.1 mil or 1.5 mil on a boat, that is completely on you. I just do not think there's really ever a necessity to go in the water in this game that requires you to spend this amount of money. I mean, you can just steal a boat and you're going to get around realistically almost as fast as you would with a Longfin. So for most players, I would say to avoid the Longfin. You'll never guess, but I'm going to say the exact same thing about the Speeder, except it is a lot cheaper. So if you did want one of these, if you did want a more elegant looking boat, for 230k, it's not the worst amount of money to spend on a boat. Are you going to use it that much? No, probably not. In fact, you're not going to use it as much as you even think you would use it. But if you want one for 230k, it is a lot harder to hate on this one than it is on the Longfin. So if you want one, I mean, it's up to you, but for most players, you're probably just going to want to avoid it. We also have the Marquis. This is one of the slowest boats in the game. In fact, I think it's either the second or third slowest boat in the game, behind a couple of submarines, I do believe it is. So if you want a sailboat, this is like like the one option for that. It is kind of a cool boat. However, you can go to the marina where it's pictured right here and just steal one. So save yourself 300k and just do that if you don't mind. We also have the Jetmax, $209,300. This is very similar to the speeder. This is not about the, like, we'll spawn in. You're gonna have to, you know, call this from Pegasus again. We get to deal with Pegasus. It's lovely. $209,000. I just, if you want it, I mean, go for it for sure. But just, you're not missing anything, you know, that special with it. And that's gonna do it for the boat discounts. So yeah, whole lot of avoid over here. Over on Southern San Andreas Super Autos, under the two-door section, we have the Vapodominator ASP. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. It is a great car as far as I'm concerned. It's one of the best handling muscle cars in the entire game, if not maybe even the best handling muscle car, dare I say. It's pretty good. It has a top speed of 118 miles per hour, which is not very quick by today's standards, and even for when it came out, it wasn't exactly fast. The STX, the Hellfire, all of those vehicles are faster in a straight line than the ASP. However, this thing does have pretty good handling. I would almost say that it would beat out the Bravado Buffalo STX, but on track, I think the STX is still going to clear the ASP. But it is a really good car for free mode, and it has fantastic customization options, which I'm very happy to say. I personally love the ASP. I think it's a really good car. It has a missile lock-on jammer available now as well. Going for $931,000 if you have the trade price, probably about $1.3 million if you don't have the trade price. If you have the trade price unlocked and you're interested in this generation of Ford Mustangs, you would probably want to consider purchasing this vehicle. However, it is still, you know, pretty expensive. So if you got other things to buy, I would make that a priority first, especially like a CEO office this week, for example. But definitely one of the better cars and vehicles to buy this week as far as the discounted vehicles go. We also have the Volcar Nebula Turbo discounted this week for $557,900. That's not like a terrible price for this car. However, this car is not exactly very great. Now, from the stock variant, before you even add drift tuning, which is an option by the way, this thing is a very drifty vehicle. It has very little grip in the rear end, and you will tend to just slide everywhere, which is cool if that's what you're looking for. But if you want something that handles well, the Volcar Nebula Turbo is not really going to be the car for you. It has some decent customization. It's really cool to customize, as a matter of fact. And with drift tuning, it is, you know, significantly better at drifting than it is, you know, when you keep it stock. Do I think it's the best drift tunable car? No, I actually think it's one of the worst ones out of them all, but that might just be my personal opinion. But I just really don't think the Nebula Turbo is that awesome of a car for $560,000 on a 30% discount. Personally, unless you absolutely love old Volvos and you really want a driftable one, and one that basically only drifts, you can safely avoid this car if you're not in the market for, yeah, a drifty Volvo. So do with that what you will. Under the off-road category, we have the Nagasaki Outlaw discounted this week. Now, as far as an off-road vehicle goes, this one is actually quite a lot of fun. However, I still just think it is way too much money. Even on a 30% discount, going for like almost $900,000 or almost $700,000 is just, it's a lot of money. The other thing to consider with the Outlaw is that it really doesn't have much in the way of customization. So for that reason, I kind of recommend avoiding it, because you can get a better off-roader, you can get some more fun off-roaders for less money, and they're going to be customizable at the very least. So the Outlaw, I mean, it is really cool. If you really want one, definitely go for it, but I would say to avoid it for most people. It can just be beat pretty easily for a cheaper amount. So I recommend not buying it. Back over to Legendary, I forgot about the Principe Electro, which is discounted this week, $525,000. This motorbike has a KERS boost ability, so it kind of has a boost which will just propel you forward with a little bit of extra power. Now, with that being said, even with the KERS boost, not that quick. I think the Bati 801, if I'm not mistaken, is like significantly faster. I think it's like got a 10-mile-an-hour advantage top speed wise, even with the KERS boost, which also does not last forever and is regenerated by braking. So not exactly the best bike ever. If you want one for like nostalgia's sake, I mean, you can get one while it's discounted for sure, but it's really just not that awesome of a bike, unfortunately. So for most players, I'm going to go ahead and say to avoid this one. Within the casino, the podium vehicle for the week is the Declasse Vigoro ZX convertible. It's worth trying to win if you want to. Within the LS car meet, we have the Grotti Cheetah Classic available to be won this week. A really, really good car, and in order to win it, you're going to have to place first in a race. So win trade with a friend if you have one, or with a random player, and you're going to get yourself the Grotti Cheetah. One of the best sports classic cars in the entire game. Fantastic customization, just overall really, really good car. If you can win it, definitely do it for sure. In the LS car meet, as far as the vehicles go, we have the Grotti GT500. Rockstar try not to put the Grotti GT500 in one of the dealerships challenge. Level impossible, it feels like. $785,000 for this one if you guys are interested. Invitero Coquette, $138,000. Absolute must buy. I would recommend this one for sure. GT500, not so much. And the Vapid Riata for $380,000. Great off-roader, really, really cool truck, a lot of customization as well. Highly recommend this one, honestly. And we have the Pfister Astral available in here with HSW for $2,858,000. Honestly, you know what? First time I've said this, maybe ever. Not the worst customization I've ever seen. You may want to actually consider buying it from here this week. Within Simeon's, we definitely got some interesting vehicles in here. Starting off with the LCC Avarice. If you guys are interested in it, it's going to cost you $135,000 as customized here. Pretty cool looking bike. I don't dislike it. I don't really know that much about it though. So if you want one, buy one. You have the Ubermacht Oracle XS. You could just steal this off the street, which is how I'd recommend getting it, of course. You have the Dubachi Rapid GT Classic for $910,000. Really cool car. Great sports classic again, by the way. Vapid Retinue for $634,000. Pretty good car as well. $634K though, not gonna lie, a little bit of money. I probably wouldn't recommend that one. And the Benefactor Streiter, which is a cool car, for $500,000. Very unique, very cool car. You may want to consider purchasing this one. I mean, it is just so unique, so that's basically what it has going for it, if you guys are interested in it. For your salvage yard robberies this week, we have the Grotti Turismo Classic as the top tier vehicle. You're going to get that by completing the Gangbanger robbery. The Podium robbery will get you the Benefactor Schlagen GT, and the McTony robbery will get you the Vapid Ellie, and none of them are claimable, sadly. The black box file is going to be your priority file for the week. At Luxury Autos, we have the Karen Woodlander and the Ubermacht Sentinel XS4. You can buy both on the website, so I'd recommend just doing that. The gun van location today, the day this video is coming out, is here in Sandy Shores, if you guys are interested. And within the gun van, we have a 30% discount on the service carbine if you're interested. We also have the precision rifle. You should never ever buy that. The military rifle is discounted for GTA Plus by 40% off. We also have the musket available in here, which is really cool. The assault rifle and the pool cue as well. For throwables, we got Molotovs, grenades, and pipe bombs. And of course, body armor is 10% off. Your RC Bandito time trial today is Cypress Flats. Your Junk Energy time trial is Mirror Park. Your regular time trial is LSIA 2. And your HSW time trial is Ron Alternates to Elysian Island. It's going to start right here, and it's going to go right down to the very bottom of Elysian, and that's where it's going to end. There you have it, guys. That's been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. I really hope you enjoyed the video or you learned something. If you did, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you guys are new. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the weekly money guide coming out tomorrow. Until then, take care. Peace.